cancer-free.
Okay, Todd's last point. He says, see yourself in light of the law. In a sense, I think Todd has done this. He's gone back to the Old Testament by forgetting the New Testament. What does Jesus say the law is? Love. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. Did Jesus get angry at sin? Yes. Do I get angry at sin? Yes. Do I get defeated when I see it around my life? Absolutely. But Jesus also wept for a city. He was more complicated than just anger. He could mix anger at sin with love for people and with hope for people. Todd seems not to be able to do that.
So in conclusion, we wanted to find a way to bring together Todd and Sue. So we looked for a video to make our final point. And the man you're going to see, Gary Ridgway, was the biggest serial killer in U.S. history. He killed a total of 48 women. When they finally caught him, he confessed. And as is often the case in the courtroom, the people who had lost someone that they cared about were given the opportunity to talk to him and to say what it was that they wanted to say to him. And the part we're going to show you is a small piece of the documentary on this. One of the big points they make in the whole piece about him is that with every person who came up and talked to him, he was totally no affect, did not react at all, just stared at them as they spoke. So kind of keep that in mind as you see this short clip. The judgment he obviously deserved illustrates our need for justice. But the grace you're going to see, well, the grace is what speaks loudest and clearest into this condemned man's heart. He is going to pay for his crime. He has been judged, but his story's not finished. And that is the heart of the Easter message. The law has not been thrown out. The law has been fulfilled and satisfied by somebody who loves us, Jesus.
On November 5th, 2003, all doubt of Ridgway's guilt was erased. He pleaded guilty to the murders of 48 women. He'd made a deal to cooperate with the prosecution to provide more information on his victims and the whereabouts of their remains. In doing so, he avoided a trial and possible death penalty.
Mr. Ridgway, how do you plead to the charge of aggravated murder in the first degree as charged in count 1 for the death of Wendy Lee Caulfield?
Guilty.
How do you plead to the charge of aggravated murder in the first degree as charged in count 2?
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
It's like he didn't have any remorse at all for what he had done. You know, he killed so many people, he didn't remember who they were, what they looked like. I just couldn't believe that somebody could kill all those people and not remember them.
Neither could the angry relatives of his victims, who were invited to speak in court when Ridgway was sentenced to life without parole on December 18th, 2003.
You had said your memory, when it comes to all of the women you took, was gone. Our memory is not. In your words, you said that they didn't mean anything to you, but she meant everything to us.
She was a mother, she was a wife, she was a sister, and we miss her.
Gary Ridgway sat there stone-faced as victims' relatives damned him and mocked him.
He's an animal. I wish for him to have a long, suffering, cruel death.
He's gonna go to hell, and that's where he belongs.
But then the emotionless facade finally cracked when the father of one of his victims appeared to surprise him with a dose of human kindness.
Mr. Ridgway, there are people here that hate you. I'm not one of them. You've made it difficult to live up to what I believe, and it is what God says to do, and that's to forgive. You are forgiven, sir.
In response to today's message, we're going to sing a song, Just As I Am. And it's a song perhaps that you may be familiar with, maybe not, but I'd like to sing the first verse by myself, and then you can join me on the others. So let's do that. Just as I am, without one plea, that thou, my blood, was shed for me, and that thou bidst me come to thee, O Lamb of God, I come. Sing that with me, first verse. Just as I just as I am, and waiting not to rid my soul of one dark spot. He whose blood has cleansed each spot, O Lamb of God, I come. You guys join hands together. Sing this last verse together. Just as I am, wilt receive, wilt welcome, pardon, cleanse me, because thy promise I believe. O Lamb of God, I come. If we could go back to the first verse and use this as words of assurance and hopes for the cross on Easter Sunday. Just voices. Just as I am, without one plea, that thy blood has shed for me, then that thy bidst me come to thee, O Lamb of God, I come, I come. As Mr. Boris pointed out, in many churches, on Easter Sunday, the priest invites people to say, "The Lord is risen," and in response, people say, "He is risen indeed." So instead of me kind of being the priest here, what we'd like to do is just pass that with each other, if you would like to, as before you leave. So the Lord is risen. He's risen indeed. Please pass that with each other. Go in peace, everybody.